on a sticky summer day, I stood in a packed audience, eagerly awaiting a main stage performer at the 2010 Warped Tour. When the band came out, the lead singer had this woman with him. He told the story of how she'd been a fan since the very beginning, and it was at one of their very first shows. Even as she stood on stage, I wondered how she got there. Did he just recognize her in the audience? Did she write him an email beforehand? But I didn't dwell on it too much and just thought it was a nice gesture for an old fan. But later in the day, that all shifted. We just happened to be standing by the entrance to the event at the right time when I saw this particular lead singer walking out with this woman, his skinny little rock star arm draped around her shoulders. And that's when it all came together. They were leaving to have sex. And that's when all the questions began to spin again. I, of course, knew people slept with famous musicians, but that happened to gorgeous gals in California, not us Midwest corn-fed girls. If she could do it, could I? Today we're going to be talking about the infamous groupie lifestyle and how you might be able to bet a rock star yourself. That's what you're in for today on Impolite Society.
Oh, I just detest rude, unladylike young ladies.
I hope you don't mind me being a tad rude.
I myself am strange and unusual.
Don't be rude.
That is some weird, wild stuff.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's a scandal!
But it's provocative.
Please stop making me blush.
Welcome to Impolite Society, the podcast that fearlessly tackles the topics you can't talk about with other parents at the playground. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Laura.
And we have a great topic today, obviously inspired by a story that stuck with me all of these years, and I think over a decade since I originally witnessed such a thing.
So I have a lot of questions based on that story.
Rightfully so.
What band was this?
Okay, let's see if you can guess. They were really big in the late aughts. Their famous song, their most favorite song, was on the radio a ton. It rhymes with shmoo shmrong. Was that a good clue?
Shh.
What if I sing it and then you try to guess it?
Yeah.
And on a day when it lost herself in thinking.
Death Cab for Cutie? No. Who is that? I know the song.
And then the other did.
They're really whiny.
Yeah.
College-y
I'll
band.
keep you my dirty little secret.
And
what's the other one they did?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the. Okay, what's the name of the band? Tell me.
They are called the All American Rejects.
I would have never guessed that. And how old are these guys?
That's a good question. I have no idea. They seemed young at the time, but maybe that's just because they were rock stars.
All right. And then, so this was like early 2000s.
Yes.
So you were what, early?
I was late teens. Yeah, last year of high school.
Yeah.
It was the summer before my last year of high school at the Warped Tour.
And how old was this woman? Was she hot?
Oh my God, I almost blurted out no, because she was not to me as my 17-year-old shallow self. She was I don't want to say middle-aged because she was probably late 20s, maybe 30. But I can't remember where I got this impression. She obviously was at the Seattle show. They talked about her being at a Seattle show 10 years ago or whatever when they were just starting out. And then somehow it came up that she might have had a husband and a child. And I think that's why I was so scandalized when I saw her leave with him. But at the same time, that might have all just been me extrapolating because I was 17 and she seemed like a grown adult and she seemed like
and so of course she was
super
married and
old.
had kids.
Yeah. And she was definitely a little bit thicker. When I say corn-fed, girl was corn-fed.
How thick? Are we talking like me thick or
oh my
thicker,
gosh.
thinner?
Again, I was 17, so I had a very skewed perception of reality. Yeah, at the Warped Tour. I would say
warped body image at the Warped Tour.
I would say, okay, what size are we? I'm trying to give it a size. Maybe 10, 12?
Okay. So that's a little thick.
Yeah, but in reality, she was probably like a 6. Who knows? I was wearing junior's clothes. I had no idea.
The sizing is all wrong.
She was doing a solid junior's 18. I don't know.
So true, because the junior's 18 is like a grown woman 10. You're 100% right.
Yes, but she was okay, let's just say if I had seen her walking on the street, she would not have turned my head, so to speak. And that's where it kind of dawned on me that us normies can be out here having sex with famous people. And I, grade A normie, am going to a concert this summer. And I started to wonder, like, could I pull off something similar? How does one do such a thing? How can I, Rachel of Impolite Society, become a groupie? And that is what I set out to discover today.
I have a theory that it mostly involves dick sucking.
And you would not be so far from the truth. But we have a long and wonderful journey to get to that dick sucking. So I think we actually have a hint of what your answer to this question would be, just based on that. But what do you think of when you think of a groupie?
I think of dick sucking. I think of people with a lot of tattoos, laying around, doing a lot of drugs, drinking, just loose morals. A woman of loose morals.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is pretty much sums it up. In short, a groupie is considered a woman who sleeps with rock stars. Their bandmates, the roadies, security, and, other fans for the entertainment of said rock stars.
Yeah, anybody that would
get them closer.
Exactly.
But if you ask a groupie, they're going to say that being a groupie is much more than that. But at their roots, groupies were born in a time brimming with youth culture, idealism, and the possibility of creating change through protest, feminism, and sexual liberation, baby.
The 60s.
Truly. The revolution was a response to socio-political changes like post-war gender roles, new forms of birth control, and the growing momentum of the civil rights movement.
Yeah, get that birth control. Get in there, girl. Get it.
Free love.
And stuff.
At their core, groupies are fans of mostly young women. Funny how that works. Who appreciate the art so much that they want to be around the people who make it. They go beyond just sleeping with the artist. They are companions on long, lonely tours. They are band-aids, to quote the movie Almost Famous. And most importantly, they are muses.
Okay, well, we'll circle back to that muses thing. Band-aids, to a bad day. That's what they are. They're band-aids for the band. Oh, band-aids. Wait, you got to explain that one.
I don't know. I never watched that movie. Who are you talking to?
Was it I am an aid to the band, or I am the band-aid for you who had a bad day, and I will just suck your dick and you feel better?
I think it's a band-aid to a broken heart or a sad heart. And artists are always troubled. But when you ask a groupie, you are, of course, going to get a lot more romantic view of what they are. So if I wanted to get to the bottom of what it means to be a groupie and how to become one myself, I figured there was no better place to start than with the women who created the concept, the women who inspired songs and created their own lore. So we are going to look at some of history's top groupies and what me, an inspiring, I will be an inspiring groupie, but right now I'm just an aspiring groupie, can learn from them.
I'm imagining them in marble, in a pantheon, all the groupies immortalized forever, on their own pedestal.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then there's the muses from Hercules who come around and sing to me the story of each of them.
Yes.
Zero to hero with sucking dicks. Zero to hero. Just like this.
Sucking dicks.
I like it. And if we were going to walk around that proverbial pantheon of famous groupies, first up would be the OG Sable Star. Girl knew what she wanted and wasted no time. She began her groupie career while still in high school, balancing her studies. Oh, it gets so much worse, Laura. balancing her studies by day and prowling Sunset Strip for famous musicians at night. In 1973, she explained to Star magazine that being a groupie was an ego boost. It allowed her to brag about her encounters with rock stars like David Bowie, Rod Stewart, Alice Cooper, Mick Jagger, and some more names that I don't know, to all of her friends. No, I got like 50% of those names. I know who they are. But how did she accomplish this feat, right? How did she achieve these notches in her belt? Well, she put it all out there. Sexy outfits, big hair, and very forward with sex acts. She...
Dick sucking.
Well, yeah, it takes one to know one. I don't know where I was going with that quip, but Sable got her start at the tender age of 12 and has ran away from home in her teens. So girl lived large. She knew what she wanted. She was out there for herself. So the lesson here from Sable is to be bold, be aggressive, and go for what you want.
Thoughts. Sable Star. Do we know is that her real name? It can't be, right? That's a porn star name. Yeah.
Yeah, no way. No way.
And second thought. I had a second thought.
It's okay. Having more than one thought is hard. So that's a solid lesson we got from Sable. But then again, I am not some young, ripe preteen.
Ew.
So I might need another tactic.
It was a different world out there in the 70s, though. Seriously, if you listen to stories about the time, I mean, people were getting with 15-year-olds all the time. Like, it was normal. I feel like it was around the 80s or 90s when it started to be like, maybe we shouldn't be having sex with 15-year-olds. So, I mean, it is very like a knee-jerk reaction right now, and a rightful one given our current climate. But I feel like back in the day, like, that was not unusual.
Well, they weren't being very like private about it. It was very front and center.
Yeah, and nobody was ashamed of it. It wasn't like you're going to get called out for it and everyone's going to find out and be like, ooh. No, nobody cared. It was like, no, it's fine. They're 15. The grass is on the field. You could play, or whatever that stupid saying is.
Luckily, the world has changed a little since then. But if we're going to go back to that world, we're going back to the world of Sweet Connie Hamsey. She overcame many obstacles in her life, like living in Arkansas and being post-pubescent. She overcame these to become one of the most famous groupies. And let's just say, homegirl was in it, heart and soul. She worked her way from the ground up, gaining access to major rock stars through the dicks of their crew and band.
Do we know how old she was?
She was definitely older than 12, but I would say she was in that 15, 16-year-old range.
Ugh.
Yeah. So make of that what you will. But our girl Connie, Sweet Connie, on the Joan Rivers show, she admitted her record was 24 men in one night, but her average was around 15.
Jesus Christ.
And I think there is a very clear lesson here to learn from Sweet, Sweet Connie. And that is summarized best by the words of the Spice Girls. If you want to be my lover, you gots to get with my friends. The more, the merrier. That's the lesson there. So basically, if I want to be a groupie, I better start my jaw stretches now.
Jesus, that is just... I mean, I know that I'm sexually repressed compared to some people. Like you have
a taboo podcast. You can't be that repressed.
I know, but like 24 men in one night. That is
a Tuesday.
I mean, she's got to be she's got to be doing more than one at a time, right?
No, I think it's just like BJ's just running her train, doing her thing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. More than one at one time. Like, it's got to be like a group scenario. It doesn't have to be like 24 all at once, but like, you're in a room, you're sucking this one and that one's watching, and then you turn around.
Oh, yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what is it? 5 minutes, maybe, tops. So you could really crank through some...
Crank
through some cranks in an hour, you know?
Poor Sweet Connie Hamsey.
Yeah, no.
Can we?
She lived in Arkansas, and people wrote songs about her. She never left Arkansas. Most of these people, these young, sexy groupies were in LA, but she was that famous living in Little Rock her whole life.
They came to visit her.
Oh yeah, when you were in Little Rock, that was the girl you went and saw. And like, she was in songs. She had songs written about her.
I'm gonna. Do you know what any of those songs were? Now I'm curious if they're like any big hits.
Oh well, no. That says something about Sweet, whatever her name was, Sweet Connie.
Sweet whatever her name
Sweet
was.
Connie. Like, it mentioned it in a song. I think
A song, not a hit song.
I think it was something about I had sex with her when she was 15. No, literally, I'm pretty sure it was something along that line.
Well, if that's your claim to fame, Connie Hamsey.
Yeah, she's still around. I think writing books and.
Are these women hot? Or either Sweet Connie or Miss
yeah.
Star?
Definitely.
They're super
yeah,
hot?
I mean, it was the
Okay.
70s and they were on cocaine. So they had killer bodies.
Okay.
Killer. And they were 16. I mean,
Yeah. Fair.
it's hard to find.
But like, were they pretty in the face?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
what
All right, I'm just
16-year-old isn't? You know, they got that glow of youth.
checking. Yeah, that's true.
They got that
You're
hope
right.
for the
Okay,
future.
That was a dumb question. Yeah.
Yeah. So far, these are good lessons, but I'm not so sure they're things that I can apply because, you know, when it comes to Sweet Connie's strategy, let's face it, I don't think I have that kind of stamina or iron stomach.
So much jizz.
I like that you
Sorry.
really spelled it out for the audience.
Yep. Just no questions.
No
No stone unturned.
subtlety. So, what is a girl to do when she's competing with hot, fresh children half her age?
What are you going to do to sexually compete with children?
Who knows? I mean,
what
are modern women to do? Well, here's the answer. To compete in a busy market, you need to stand out. And that's the final lesson that comes from Cynthia Alberton. Cindy described herself as a shy, fledgling, virginal, goofy girl that wanted to get laid by cute British boys with long hair and tight pants. And I say, fair enough, Cindy.
Yeah, I feel like me and Cindy can get down. And it sounds like a real name, Alberton.
Yeah. She's truly a girl after my own heart. You just gotta swap out British for Scandinavian. Lols.
Because why? You want to be Scandinavian?
No, the band that I like is Swedish.
Ooh, I know who it is.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're being coy
because I only
about it.
like one band, essentially. So how did our awkward wallflower find her way backstage and into her British boy's pants? Inspiration soon struck while Cindy was in her college art class. The young rock fan decided she would meet musicians by offering to make molds of their erect penises.
I feel like I've heard of this.
Yes. So our sweet little Cindy earned her name, Cindy the Plaster Caster, and her spot in a groupie Hall of Fame. The lesson here, get a gimmick.
Gotta get a gimmick, get yourself a gimmick if you wanna get ahead.
Get some
You know what that's from?
head. Is it from Cabaret?
Gypsy.
Oh. I was like, it's one or the other.
We're gonna add that to our karaoke
Next
repertoire. Get a gimmick, Gypsy. It's true, man. If you can't compete with these crazy dick suckers that are,
Let me just slap some paper mache on your cock, please. On your throbbing member. I just want to cover it with some paper mache.
and then I'm gonna suck it when we're done.
No, she did actually get laid. It worked the first time she tried it, and while she didn't quite get her cast, she did get cast in the role of bedfellow that evening. So,
Clever.
good for her. So, I will be right back because I'm going to go think of a way I can cleverly charm my way into some rock star's pants. Bonus points if it also involves them being hard and horny in the moment, right? I mean, like, she really set the stage.
Let's brainstorm for a moment. How can we gimmick it?
Free prostate exams.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I got that. It's kind of unique. I feel like rock stars now are pretty little bit more open-minded, to getting things at the butt. I mean, they probably were back then.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, okay.
For sure,
that was
for sure.
that was the low-hanging fruit.
Something with toes. I feel like that isn't also a low-hanging fruit.
I have really ugly feet, so that doesn't work.
No, their toes. We do something with their toes.
Cut them off.
Pull them off.
Ooh.
It's an S&M thing.
Yeah,
okay, that's what it is. We have a gallery. We tell all these rock stars, we have a gallery of all of the greatest rock toenails that we've ripped out during intercourse. And would you like to participate?
I don't think that would work.
No. No.
Okay, what about
All right.
an art project? We capture famous people's O faces.
I feel like that's not unique enough.
Shit. Sorry. I thought that was going to be good.
Photocopying ass cheeks. Sit on the glass.
Yeah, but who has a photocopier these days?
That's also why it's a gimmick, because it's a novelty.
Yes. We are scientists trying to test the speed at which ejaculation comes from a penis. And so
I like that.
we need to clock their cum.
But we only need really nerdy bands that to participate in that who are into
What, like,
scientific research.
There Might Be Giants? Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah.
We're going to reach out to There Might Be Giants and be like, can you come onto my speed clocker?
Put a little bee in your bonnet. Make a little birdhouse in your soul. I don't know.
Dear God.
That's what I got.
Dear God. Okay, let's leave They Might Be Giants alone. Because like you said, let's face it, the world of those gals is long gone. For the better in some statutory cases.
Definitely.
But would these tactics work in this day and age? They seem to be a little outdated. Do groupies even exist anymore?
Hi there, this is Tom from the DPA. You're probably wondering what the DPA does. Well, when someone sends you a picture of someone's genitals, such as a man's, we analyze it. We can tell you exactly where it's from, what race, the height of said man, and the accuracy of the picture if it's from that individual. That's right, dick pic analysis. The DPA's been around for many years. We've tested the program over and over, even on our own dicks, and we guarantee that it works 8% of the time. That's right, the only DPA program that actually works 8% of the time. You might send us a dick, we look at the pic, and we think, could be. There's no real computers. It's just 3 guys in a room staring at dicks. We've had many years of experience, and we promise you that we'll get you an answer to what you want to know. Do you want to know if that person can cook? Do you want to know their occupation? Do you want to know how tall they are? If they're fat, skinny, and if they use OnlyFans? We'll know by just their picture. And we'll guarantee 8% accuracy. That's right, the DPA, Dick Pic Analysis. Go to our website at dickpicanalysis.com, upload your information and a picture, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. That's DPA, dickpicanalysis.com. Don't be scared, go ahead and share. The DPA is not responsible for lost photos that you may have sent us, and we accidentally forward them to our friends. We do share information. None of this stuff is secret. It all goes public. 8% accuracy is a little high, but we can at least tell you the color of the dick that you sent us. We'll even measure it to our own dicks. Usually they're bigger. Not our dicks, but the pictures. Dick pic analysis. Not a real thing. Nerds Talking the Podcast. Back to the show.
Do groupies even exist anymore?
They have to. Rock stars like to get fucked. Women like to fuck rock stars. Everyone wants to fuck somebody famous.
Yeah, but did they like the fucking or did they like what fucking brought them? Because one of the primo benefits of being a groupie was access. They got to see what was happening behind the scenes with these rock bands. Get to know who the artists were, which by my calculations was about 25% talent, 30% hard liquor, 15% cocaine, 28% swagger, and 2% dick.
I feel like that percentage may vary by individual, but okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But nowadays, we can all see into the lives of most everyone we want to through social media. Social media has drastically changed the level of access we plebes have to musicians and performers. We can get an inside look into their lives, see what they ate for breakfast, what they're doing backstage, and what goes into making the magic. We can also even engage in two-way conversations with artists online by, commenting, sending them messages, tweeting at them. Why aren't you responding to my tweets, Ariana Grande? Hello.
I think that's a really good point because I'm not a star fucker. I think that's pretty obvious if anybody has listened to this podcast or knows me. But I do I get a high from meeting people. I can think of two people that, I was kind of not obsessed with. That might be a little bit too much. But I had a thing for them, two celebrities. And then once I met them, that was enough. Because I have all that access through social media, through, chats online, all that kind of stuff. That was really, really thrilling. And then once I met them, that's the end of the thrill. I know as a middle-aged woman who's not going to bone anybody and have a sexual relationship with anybody, that's the end of it. I mean, maybe if I were young and hotter, I would still want more. I don't know. But I think it's a really good point that the groupie scene has probably chilled a lot.
For sure, because what is at the center of being a groupie is just see me, acknowledge me, notice me. And if you can get that through a famous person following your Twitter account or liking your TikTok, then you're maybe less inclined to seek out the attention, the sexual attention of famous musical acts.
That tracks.
And in addition to social media, we also live in a entirely different world with what some of us would say were better morals. Adult men can no longer proudly have sex with preteens. Women have more of a voice and are beginning to show the cracks in the shiny world of celebrity flings. The hashtag #MeToo movement is about women sharing their stories of men using power differences to gain sexual favors. And I mean, how much can a drunk, coked up 15-year-old really consent? Bummer index. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, we decided that, this time around we're going to watch that bummer index and make sure it doesn't creep up too high. So we're getting little spikes here, so we better keep moving along. So let's just say it's a PR minefield and a potential career killer for artists. Recent cases of German metal band Rammstein and Nelly from the Lou, our homeboy, our hometown hero, have proven that real consequences do exist for artists who get entangled with fans.
I don't know about those stories specifically. I do know Rammstein. I do know Nelly as well. I was also thinking that came to mind was R. Kelly, but that was kind of a different situation. Those weren't really groupies.
Yeah, he groomed that girl, right?
Yeah, it was super fucking weird. But
yeah,
do you know anything about those?
Yeah,
cases?
Rammstein, he solicited sex from a woman online and offered to bring her backstage at a show and then took her into a room and tried to drug her or something and got upset when she wouldn't have sex with him. And then Nelly, it was these two girls were brought onto a tour bus. And again, we're claiming that they were not made, but I think expected to suck everybody's dick on the tour bus. And it was 20 dudes or something. So
ew.
Yeah, not ideal. So
yeah, don't expect access without tit for tat.
Yeah, but there's back in the day, from my research, groupiness was about connecting with the guys and doing that kind of stuff. But then it really kind of evolved into what gross perverted thing can we get these fans to do or these women to do for us?
That's always the impression that I kind of got from groupies, that you were this experiment. And that was deeply unappealing to me.
Yes, you were almost like a joke. It was kind of the butt of the joke. It was you were doing these things and you got to be around them, maybe even got to sleep with them, but it was always just they were laughing at you. You weren't in on it.
Yeah. You're pathetic. You're, look at you. You want so bad to be here. Like, how bad can I degrade you for wanting to be here? That's my impression of groupies.
And according to the big groupies, like some of the big time groupies, they did that too. But then there was also the hashtag cool girls who they just hung out with, who were groupies, like maybe sleeping with one or two members of the band at a time, you know, like exclusively sleeping with them, but they were around and they were just like chill, cool girls. So even in the groupie world, you can be not like the other girls.
Yeah, it's kind of like courtesans versus prostitutes. Do you know what I mean? Like the end result is the same, but one is more respected than the other. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like anything, there's layers to it. And some of these cool girl groupies say that being a groupie is dead, according to an article I read. These were the girls who were sleeping with and then married to members of band. I don't know if they're bands. Men who made EDM music.
Yeah, I don't know if that's okay.
I don't know what you call that person. A button presser? Who knows? But they're saying now it's more trendy for these artists to have and be loyal to a spouse as a way of bucking the system. Hashtag good guy rocker. But I think it's more like the person who wrote this article was a young person in this scene, like in their 20s, and was having a lot of sex and then just got older. And she was like, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore because all my friends are married and settled down. It's like, girl.
Yeah. And
that's life.
And my husband thinks it's cool to be loyal to me.
Yeah. It's just like, that's just called being in your 30s. Welcome to life. While other people say that groupies still exist, but it's like in a entirely different construct of like just a super fan. And regardless of how a modern groupie is defined, some people just want to feel the music inside them.
That's graphic. I don't like that.
Ooh, I grossed out Laura. That doesn't often happen. But you put any person on a stage and people want to fuck them, right? It's universal. That's why.
Oh, God, it's so true.
Girls on clubs clamber onto any elevated flat surface. Attention is the first step to attraction. Check out, dig in the archives and check out Do You Think You're Better Than Me? The episode we did, because that talks a lot about how attention and attraction correlate. Anyways, so I think I need to reframe my question, right? Not how do I become a groupie, because according to WikiHow listicle, it just involves being a super fan and getting involved in fan clubs. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want to know how to fuck a famous musician. And that is the question that I will try to answer now. And there are two ways to go about it. The first way is the good old-fashioned way, a.k.a. the hard way.
Yeah, hard way or the highway. I don't know. Did that make sense? No. Hard way. Dicks. Funny. Go on.
A+ humor. So this hard way, the dick way, is the way of yesteryear that involves some serious work, like getting to the venue early, like way early.
I did this once.
You did? Did you show up when the crew showed up and tried to get their attention?
I came up before the crew came up, and they let us into the building thinking that we were part of the crew. That's how early we were. We sat there and we watched sound check.
Yes, that's when they tell you to get there before sound check, and then you can interact with the people who are, working on the show, get their attention, hang out where they hang out outside during smoke breaks, strike up a conversation. And if you're going to take the Sweet Connie approach, this is the time to start sucking dicks, right? So you can get your way backstage.
Or whipping out your plaster caster.
Yeah, just be like, I'm here to yank off toenails of the rich and famous. But here's a pro tip from me to you, or from the internet straight to your ear holes. Make sure it's roadies, guys, not venue staff. The venue staff don't know anybody. And you don't want to go to town and do all that effort to just be left standing outside with eggs all over your face.
This is another one that grosses me out. You really got me this time. It's just too much cum. Ugh.
That's what Sweet Connie said. AK, JK never. She never said that.
She was like, give me more, give me more.
Mm-hmm. So,
Sweet 15-year-old Connie.
sexy. She's got her permit and she's ready to go.
This makes me think of that Dave Chappelle sketch where, like, the R. Kelly one was like, she's holding 2 forms of identification and he's just pissing on her face.
I obviously missed all of that cultural touch point because I don't know what is happening.
Listeners know.
They know. They're cool. They're the cool ones.
They're cool girls, just like me.
Yes. Yeah, you guys are the ones cracking the jokes while I'm dancing for you. Dance! Monkey dance!
Dance, monkey
Research
dance!
groupies and tell me about them. And I will. So, if getting there early and trying to strike up a conversation with the crew doesn't work, there's always being enticing from the pit, right? This does involve getting there early so you can get good spots right up on the barrier and then throw the performers some serious fuck me eyes. This works best in smaller venues like, a stadium tour. This might be a bit harder, but it's not impossible. And again, use the principle of attention equals attraction in your favor. Our girl, Sable Star, would clamber on top of speakers during shows just to get her Mark's attention.
I feel like that's going to get you tackled by security, honestly, at least now.
That's another thing that has changed since the 70s. But you could always get on somebody's shoulders if you really want to be a dick to everybody behind you. Because that is what the lead singer of the All-American Rejects did say at one point. I want to see the hottest girls on the buffest guy's shoulders. And my 17-year-old mind at the time thought, bro, this is St. Louis. This is not California.
There are no buff guys. There are no hot girls.
You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be... I was like, you're not... Don't even try. And somebody did throw a water bottle at him and he stormed off the stage.
That's
I did
classic.
not have a good impression of this performer after this. I don't listen to this music to this day because I just
trauma
memories. He's a little twat. Okay.
It's a little bitch. Well, also this is a good time also to do the flashing, right? Did they say yay or nay on flashing?
There was no mention of flashing.
WikiHow didn't tell you about flashing. Okay, roll the dice.
WikiHow
is what I would advise you at your concert.
Give it a whirl, right? That's a good way to get attention. Is flash them the headlights, give them the high beams. If you're 15, if you're my age, it's the fog lights.
Hang it low. Hang it low.
Hey. Sometimes it happens accidentally when you're trying to fix your belt. You're just kind of like, oh shit,
One of them fell out.
It's fun getting old. I recommend it. 10 out of 10.
You're not even 30.
I am 30.
You are 30.
Do you not know how old I am?
Okay, you just fucking turned 30 in April, like 4 months ago.
Yeah. It's 4 long months of my 30s.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I'm almost 40. Anyway, let's bury my past. Let's keep talking about lots and lots of cum.
Okay.
And it'll just distract me.
Yeah. I hear it's good for your skin. Okay.
Ooh.
So.
Is that the secret?
This is still probably your longest shot. Your best bet.
But,
or your fastest, if we're going to measure it. Your best bet is after the show, which, guess what? Involves more waiting. Stay around after. The band members may be hanging out around the merch table, so check that out. This is probably if they're less famous. You're not going to
I was going to say.
Find members of the All-American Rejects hanging around the merch table. Or not, even if they're not there. You might find people who work on the tour, right? So another in to backstage. And you can also meet other hardcore fans and follow them where they're going because they know who to ask for pics and set list and other memorabilia. So the people they're getting those things for, those are the ones you want to charm because they're the good ones that are going to know if the lead singer or the stars are looking for some strange that night, and they're the ones who can potentially recommend you to that person and like get you back there to meet them.
It's the sommelier of the groupie scenario. It's like, would you like a nice blonde or perhaps a brunette this evening?
Yeah. I want a corn-fed. Give me somebody a junior size 18, please.
I can definitely recommend this hanging out by the end, by the way, the staying around late, because that was also how I met other people that I was, again, borderline obsessed with, is just you hang around long enough. They have to leave that building.
Yeah.
Oh, they have
You have to find, there's a door, right? There's always a door. So I'm going to...
Stage door.
I'm going to look for that door. I'm going to Google stage door, Hollywood amphitheater, casino amphitheater, and then I'm going to find it. And then
I've done it. Yep.
Then I'm going to lurk around, and I probably won't even say anything because I really don't want to have sex with anybody. So then I'm just going to...
No, you don't have to have sex with them. You can just get a picture and like an autograph and like, hey, I love you. You're so great. Give me a hug. Take a picture. Selfie. Bye.
I'd be like...
And that's the end of it.
Hello.
That's Scandinavian for
That's
hello.
Swedish. It would be tag, 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 tag. It's like, I went to Stockholm for 4 hours once. I know about your culture. ABBA. Okay.
Just say that.
Just be like, money, money, money. Okay, so even if you've done all of this and you have not gotten access to your conquest, do not fear, because the final attempt is where you are most likely to have success. And this is exactly what we were talking about with that backstage door. You have to hang around to at least 30 minutes after the concert once the parking lot's empty, and you are going to stay back. You're going to wait for your heart's desire to leave, and you're going to be there among the hardcore fans, and you're going to push your way to the front and meet them and make sure they know you are available.
Headlights. Fog lights. Check.
Yeah, I don't know if that quite that far, but just be real flirty and cute and be like, oh my God, I love you, blah, 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 blah. Can I buy you a beer? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a classic. Come on. It's just, I want to buy you a beer. AKA cum joke. I don't know. I was trying to think of one.
We're rusty. We're getting back in the saddle. It's cool. It's cool. So that might be your opportunity to get invited to come party with them or get on the bus and roll to the next town. I feel like that's probably not going to happen, but you could give it a shot.
Uber back home.
So really, if you want to get down with famous artists, it takes patience. You might even have to camp out the night before to make sure you're first in line to get into the venue. Planning, you got to know the venue's rules and routes. You got to find that stage door. And just a dash of chutzpah.
I think a little bit more than a dash.
Yeah, you got to really be ready to flash the high beams.
Well, you got to be bold, man. You can't be the timid one sitting in the back. No. You got to elbow your way to the front. You've got to make an impression. You got to smile big. You have to laugh hard. It's a lot of chutzpah.
Yes, so build that up if you want to get a lot of build-up of cum on you.
Egg on your face.
But there also are shortcuts, as our gal plaster caster taught us. You can always reach out in advance with your gimmick, or, as one online article suggested, posing as a journalist to do an interview.
Ooh.
Or being a real journalist. But that takes 4 years of college and a career. So
a job.
Yeah. I mean, you can say like, oh, I'm covering it. This is an interview for my podcast.
Oh,
wait, that's the gimmick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Anonymous sex, audio only, goes on a podcast, no names.
And then people try to guess what artist it is.
Ooh, I feel like that's a pretty good gimmick.
I like it.
We got these high quality mics, but it's gotta be real close to pick up.
Oh dear God.
To pick up all those.
Oh, I was gonna say
all those mac and cheese noises.
Now I'm grossed out. I was gonna say iHeartRadio, hit us up. We just crank out gold ideas 24/7.
Crank
that idea. Okay. So, I mean, all of this is truly the old-fashioned way, the good, solid day's work way. God's way, if you will.
That's how God intended. It was in the Bible.
Yep, he said, on the first day, let your groupies wait outside. On the second day, let your groupies suck a roadie's dick. And then hopefully on the seventh day, somebody gets some rest because this sounds exhausting.
Connie's going to need it.
Because I'm tired. I'm 30. I'm tired. I want to know the easy way. And it involves two things: being hot and having an online presence. So now, that very thing that makes rock stars and artists and celebrities accessible is also the same thing that makes it easy to audition to be their bedfellow. Social media. Having an account filled with hot selfies and reaching out to an artist and slipping into their DMs is a way to get in front of them and work your magic and say the things that people say to get other people to have sex with them. I'm not sure what those things are. I've been married for a long time.
They're mysterious.
It is.
I imagine they involve nudes.
Yeah,
right?
let the sexy selfies do the talking, not the stalking. That's what I do. Do you want to hear my best pickup line, Laura? My best line I use to get laid frequently?
Yes.
The baby's asleep.
Ooh, I'm just hot. Just
I know.
It's
a great line. You're welcome, alpha males. You can use that to pick up girls in the bar.
Oh, I feel like that's not going to end well.
No, it's not. So you can go to these links to be hot online and then reach out to these famous artists, or better yet, they find you. Not quite the targeted approach, but I did read stories of famous people when they're in cities reaching out to hot influencers in those cities. So how did they find them? I guess based on tags and shit. So if you want to get noticed by your favorite band, use hashtags and at them and stuff. But also be aware that some people if they can see that, other people can see that. So sometimes people are trying to scam you by pretending to be these famous people. I did learn about that recently as well. So also don't be dumb.
It's generally good life advice. Don't be dumb. If you they might be giants and then 5 seconds later they might be giants messages you back about your sex sounds podcast, maybe be a little bit on
and if they want you to send them money so that they can come be on your podcast, yes, look out for that. So that is everything that I've learned about being a groupie, from the lessons from the greats to a look at what it means to be a modern groupie and how one might do it today. But I was like, oh my gosh, should we seriously try to catfish a famous person at some point as part of an Impolite Society experiment?
That would be a good one. I mean, obviously it would be a truth catfish because we could not use, at least not my real picture. I mean, how do you even catfish people nowadays? I feel like if you have to dig deep to find, pictures that people can't find easily. But then again, it's also people aren't going to probably look that hard if they're just looking for tail.
If you're horny enough, you're going to believe it, right? You're going to be like, this hot person wants to have sex with me.
Yeah, they're not going to reverse Google image search you and try to find what account it actually came from.
It's consensual make-believe. Coming soon, Impolite Society Catfish Edition.
Okay, what band would you catfish if you could?
Definitely not the All American Rejects.
I'm not into bands. I'm into actors.
What actor would you catfish?
Any of them.
Any actor.
No. Chris Evans. Timothy Olyphant. Those are the tops of my list at the moment. Timothy Olyphant's getting a little old. I'm sorry, Tim.
How old is he?
He's in his 50s, almost late 50s now.
Yeah, that's...
No, how old is he?
On Social Security age.
Let's see. How old is Ooh, 55. So not quite as high as I thought, but he's looking it. He's looking it nowadays.
That's a good thing
Sorry.
for a man. It's distinguished.
It was like 5 years ago. Kind of
Too much.
There's a tip. Yeah, there's a tipping point, and it varies by person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
You know,
Mr. O. I love you. I'd still catfish you any day.
If I was thinking about bands, kind of wonder what the Bare Naked Ladies are up to.
I feel like that would be an easy get.
You gotta start small, work our way up.
What about Smash Mouth? We can find them.
That's a totally different ball game.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Another postcard with chimpanzees.
I do like the Bare Naked Ladies. Unashamed.
Yeah, they're good. Everything to Everyone. Their album. I had that as a child.
I don't. Nope. I'm just sailing past that one. I'm not commenting about it.
Okay, so that is my lesson on being a groupie. Could I do it? Maybe. Will I do it? I don't know. It involves a lot of effort. But if you do see a lot of hot selfies showing up on the Impolite Society Instagram, you'll know why. I'm catfishing, baby.
So, side note, go ahead and follow Impolite Society on Instagram. What are we? At Impolite Society Podcast? Probably. Maybe?
That's a good guess. I haven't been on there since the last time we quit. That's where you go to learn about when we're quitting and when we're coming back. No, just kidding. If you want to catfish us, please find us on social media. I would love to be catfished. I need some excitement in my life. Just slip into our DMs and let me know that the baby's asleep. And, action is on.
Gets me hot every time. Wah, wah, wah.
Wee, wee, wee. No, that kills the action every time.
Absolutely. No. Mm-mm. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us again today. And remember, keep marching to the beat of your own drum. That was the ending, right?
Yeah, that's over now.
Stay curious. That was the
Andrew Lloyd Webber, I catfish him. It's over now, the episode about groupies.
That's staying in.
That's it. Edit that out. Production team, edit it out.